Part 26. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Liao. Chapter 251. Birthday present. She was too complacent today, she had long forgotten about Cheng's birthday. There was only a moment of panic. I comforted herself. Cheng disappeared for such a long time, and when he came back, he didn't know what month and day it was. Why should he panic? Thinking of this, she immediately calmed down, smiled and said to Bai Wei, "Well, I bought it, and I will give it to my brother when he comes back." I didn't say what the gift was. Bai Wei only thought that she wanted to maintain a sense of mystery. She didn't ask, but couldn't wait to share the gift she had prepared. A pair of men's gloves. It's cold, so a pair of gloves is just right. In addition, Bai Wei also made longevity noodles. Special attention to longevity noodles. There is only one piece of noodles in a bowl, and the layers are circled in the bowl without knots in the middle, implying a smooth and safe life. Because I don't know if Cheng will come back today, the noodles and soup are warmed separately, so there is no need to worry about it becoming lumpy. I originally thought that was all there was to it, but when she returned to her room, she found Bai Wei's love card on the table, which said, "Cheng, happy birthday. Mom made longevity noodles, remember to eat it?" The signature is, "Love your mother." There is also a smiley face on the back. I. As a middle-aged woman, Bai Wei sometimes behaves like a girl full of romantic feelings unexpectedly. The mother is so silly and sweet, but the son has such a black belly. I don't know if it is because all the IQ is transferred to the fetus during pregnancy. I complained silently in her heart. After complaining, she felt a little bit sorry. Bai Wei has both gloves and noodles, and as a younger sister, she is not prepared for anything, let alone, Cheng just helped her not long ago. Isn't it a little heartless? I sat by the bed, feeling tangled and contradictory, and struggled for a while, remembering that Cheng might not come back. She felt that her sense of guilt was superfluous. Simply think about it, turn off the lights and go to sleep. Half asleep and half awake, I faintly heard the soft sound of the door being opened. She fell asleep in a daze, thinking it was a dream, but then she smelled the fragrance of flowers. The fragrance of flowers is rich and quiet, and her senses are extremely real. She finally opened her eyes slowly, only to see a tall figure standing beside the bed. I sat up in shock. She almost screamed. Anyone who sees a figure standing by the bed in the middle of the night will be frightened to death. "Can't you turn on the light?" I was overly frightened and clutched her chest, already realizing who the other party was. "Woke you up?" Cheng was also very surprised. When I fell asleep, it was very difficult to wake him up. However, maybe this is a sign of progress in cultivating the soul? Now that she was awake, Cheng lost his scruples and raised his hand to turn on the bedside lamp. The light was like a warm orange veil, covering the room instantly, soft and blurred. Cheng held a handful of white roses in his hand. The blossoms were in full bloom, enchanting, glamorous and elegant. "Congratulations, you have won the lawsuit." He handed the rose to I, squeezed her face with his free hand, and said with a smile, "My Zi is really amazing." I was still in shock, holding the bouquet in a daze, her heart still beating rapidly. After returning to his senses, he thought, how did Cheng know about her participation in the trial? No, how could he not know? It should be said that no matter what she did, he knew it. "What's the big deal? I just learned from Mr. Chu, and it's really nothing to do with me." I turned her face away, not letting him pinch it any further. "It's going to make my face big." "Oh, can you pinch your face bigger?" Cheng smiled sternly. "Then let me help you, pinch the place that should be bigger." Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 252. Muzi was annoyed, and raised her hand to beat him hard a few times. You man, could you not be so vulgar? Calling him vulgar is a compliment, he is simply vulgar and vulgar. Murong Cheng took the insult as flirting, smiled and backed away a little, and leaned over to kiss her again, but Muzi refused, fluttering like an impatient little sparrow in his arms. After struggling for a while, slowly, she felt something was wrong. Are you injured? Muzi felt the wetness on his hands, turned over and stretched out his hands to illuminate them under the lamp. There was a dazzling bright red. You're hurt, she said, her tone changed from surprise to affirmation. Murong Cheng frowned slightly, looked down at his chest. There was blood seeping out, staining his clothes red. He didn't want to soil Muzi's quilt. He straightened up and took off his shirt, exposing his firm chest. Musa saw a palm-length scar on his chest, which had already scabbed over, but split a little from the middle, gurgling out bright red blood, flowing along the texture, dripping on his strong waist and abdomen, like a bloody scar. Flowing oil painting. Even if he had seen a dead person before, Muzi still felt shocked when he saw the scene in front of him. She randomly pulled out a bunch of tissues to cover his wound, remembering how hard she had just punched him just now. Are you stupid? Why didn't you hide just now? Murong Cheng smiled softly, got out of bed, took out the medicine box from the cabinet, took out the gauze, and bandaged himself skillfully. It's just a small injury. If I didn't release the water on purpose, that person wouldn't be able to get close to me. Just brag. Muzi sat on the bed, staring at him with a pair of dark eyes. I'm so courageous, you dare to say that I'm bragging? Murong Cheng came up again, put his arms around her and bit her delicate neck as a punishment. Muzi subconsciously hid to the side. Murong Cheng tightened his grip around her waist, not letting her hide, half forcibly making the two of them fit closer together. The breath on his body was fresh and cold, filled with the smell of blood and the fragrance of roses, filling and surrounding her, making her suffocated and confused. Muzi seemed to have touched his wound, and her struggling movements became gentle unconsciously. She suddenly felt that Murong Cheng was pitiful, and his birthday was not peaceful. So many people wanted to kill him, and she didn't know if he would still die on his birthday next year. Thinking of the possibility of Murong Cheng's death, Muzi's heart trembled slightly, as stones were thrown into the windless lake, causing circles of ripples, which could not be calm. Murong Cheng went all the way up the neck, pressed her into the soft quilt, rubbed her lips, and rubbed her ears and temples. I don't know if it was caused by inner demons, he was so unscrupulous, yet Muzi didn't resist. Her meekness made Murong Cheng astonished, and then pleasantly surprised. He raised his body with his arms propped up, stared at her with dark eyes like ink, and asked, Zizi, are you loving me? What nonsense, Muzi shouted, her cheeks blushing with anger, I just don't want to waste my energy and struggle uselessly. Murong Cheng let go of her, and sat up with his back straight. He carefully looked at Muzi's expression, and after a while, a smile appeared in his eyes. You love me. The tone is firm. Muzi got angry, turned over and turned her back, ignoring him. Murong Cheng was very happy. He took off his shoes and squeezed into her bed, holding her tightly in his arms. Muzi was upset, and had nothing to do with him, complaining in a low voice, you haven't come back for so long, my mother has been very worried, and I have called you countless times but couldn't get through. Today, I specially made longevity noodles for you. You can't go on like this forever, no matter how busy the Huo family is, you should call your mother to keep safe. She rambled on, complaining about Baiwei's injustice. Murong Cheng was a little surprised. Why do you make longevity noodles? Muzi was slightly taken aback. Huh? Doesn't he know that today is his birthday? You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 253. You don't remember your birthday, I was surprised, and turned to look at him. Then why did you come back? Cheng was silent, and said, why do you think I'm coming back? I. Could it be, he came back just to congratulate himself for winning the lawsuit? The bouquet of white roses was still on the bed just now, because of the entanglement between the two of them just now. The flower branches were messy, and the white petals were spread out layer by layer, carrying a strong fragrance. Silence flowed slowly in the room, creating a charming ambiguity. I felt awkward, so she pulled the quilt tighter, and said in a muffled voice, who knows, you're always elusive. Duplicate little thing. Cheng chuckled, and then his lips fell, and the scorching breath made her tremble slightly. He was so tall, when he hugged her from behind, he was like a mountain, solid and reliable. The two were snuggling quietly on the bed, and Cheng suddenly asked her, do you like going to court? Otherwise, the buyer's law firm will send you off. Are you serious about grocery shopping? I was amused and annoyed, and the verbal confrontation, what's the point, I don't like it. Cheng said, you still go if you don't like it? Because I pursue improvement, I replied. In fact, sometimes, I felt that she had exposed too much in front of Cheng, and he should have recognized him as Suzy. But sometimes, she would feel that she was too self-indulgent. Cheng was busy with his grand plans. How could he have time to pay attention to his sister-in-law? Neither of them even spoke a word. I cleared away those messy thoughts in her mind, and patiently explained to him, although my surname is Mew, living in Mew's family name is not correct, and sooner or later I have to go out independently. Now that I have more knowledge, I will graduate later. Doing things, whether it is a lawyer or a prosecutor, is very promising. At the end, he added in a sour tone, of course, you can't compare with Master Wrong's future. Cheng laughed lowly. He liked the appearance of I nesting in his arms thinking about the future. He thought it was very cute. Your future is to marry me, he announced domineeringly. I curled her lips and silently rolled her eyes. Yeah, the way she rolls her eyes is cute too. Cheng was in a good mood. He pressed her down and kissed her hard, and quickly took off her nightdress. I hurriedly pressed his hand and shouted angrily, Cheng. You're going crazy again. Cheng stopped, but his body pressed even tighter, wishing to let the two of them merge into one. He breathed heavily and asked, where is Zizi's birthday present for me? I's body froze. I'm really afraid of something. In the room, there was silence. Cheng waited silently, his dark and deep eyes flashed with a dangerous glint. Aren't you ready? He asked hoarsely. I's eyes wandered. Well, actually, it's past 12 o'clock, so it's not your birthday anymore. Cheng took a breath, and after 2 seconds of silence, he slowly said, it's okay, Zizi can give me herself as a gift. I's back tensed, and her scalp felt numb. She quickly hugged Cheng's arm. Can I supply you tomorrow? Cheng ignored her, bowed his head and kissed her neck, bitingly. I want a birthday present now. His voice was deep, resolute, and lingering. If there is no present, I will do it for you now. Who would ask for a birthday present like that? It's so unreasonable. I is about to be driven crazy by him. There's a gift. She pushed him hard. Get up, I'll give you a birthday present. Cheng really got up, and looked at her suspiciously, to see how she was going to get out. I sat up angrily, and spread a palm towards Cheng. Take out your mobile phone chain. Cheng slightly raised his eyebrows, puzzled. What are you going to do? If you want a gift, just show it. Muzi raised her chin arrogantly. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 254. Murong Cheng was silent for a while, then found Kun Lunhong from his pocket, and placed it gently in Muzi's tender palm. Muzi had seen his mobile phone chain long ago. It looks like some kind of crystal ornament, with a red string wrapped around one end, making it look like a mobile phone chain, nothing unusual. But the styles of mobile phones are changing with each passing day. There is no place to attach a mobile phone chain for a long time, not to mention, Murong Cheng is a big man with a pendant on his mobile phone, he is a bit bitch. He has always carried this Kunlunhong with him, and has not installed it on his mobile phone. Muzi got out of bed holding Kunlunhong, opened the drawer and rummaged through, found scissors and red string, disassembled the Kunlunhong crystal on the mobile phone chain, and tied a knot with a new red string, with the crystal embedded in it. Murong Cheng seemed to see what she wanted to do, with a gentle smile in his eyes. You want to weave a bracelet for me? Fearing that he would be unhappy, Muzi stayed away vigilantly. The bracelet is also a gift. It's more thoughtful if I make it myself, don't be ignorant. Murong Cheng didn't know that she could weave a bracelet, so he smiled and said, okay, it can be regarded as a gift. Muzi breathed a sigh of relief. Grandma taught me how to weave bracelets, and Muzi was very good at it when I was a child, but after so many years, I have forgotten many weaving methods, and I was a little unfamiliar for a while. She frowned, thinking and twisting, with an extremely focused expression. Seeing her serious appearance, Murong Cheng felt warm in his heart, but then he thought of another thing. Have you ever knitted bracelets for others? The man's voice was cold for no reason. Muzi lowered her head, and replied angrily, do you think everyone is as crazy as you? Asking for gifts in the middle of the night. Murong Cheng was scolded, but his thin lips curled up, very happy. She never made it up for Muzening. So this bracelet is unique. The room was silent. Muzi slowly regained her memory, and the movements in her hands gradually became proficient. When I edited it, I felt quite uncomfortable. The weaving method in hand now uses 3 red ropes. If weaving it into a lover's knot, it means 3 lives and 3 generations. And Murong Cheng San's hung 3. Thinking about it makes her feel unlucky. The half of her life in front of her is enough for her. Muzi finished braiding the bracelet, and wanted Murong Cheng to try the length, but when she looked up, she found that the person on the bed hadn't moved. She was stunned. Murong Cheng fell asleep on the bed. The lamp by the bed emits a pale orange light, which is warm and lingering, but also a bit drunk and warm. Under the shadow of the lamp, Murong Cheng's face was deep and thin, showing tiredness, as if he hadn't slept for several days. Muzi approached lightly, and put the braided red bracelet on his left wrist. Even so, he didn't wake up either. Murong Cheng was very vigilant before, even when he was sleeping, he kept vigilant. This time he might be really exhausted. Muzi quietly looked at him. His sleeping face was rare and gentle, neither evil nor cruel, only gentle and handsome. Murong Cheng is really a very handsome man, there is always an endless elegance between his brows. Whenever Muzi looked at this face, something in her chest seemed to hit her heart indiscriminately, and her mind was in a mess, as if she could tolerate the evil deeds done by this man a little more. But why didn't she feel this way when she saw Murong Cheng before? Probably because, at that time, she didn't have him in her eyes. She was too devoted to work, ignoring too many people and things around her. Thinking about it this way, she would have a different feeling about Murong Cheng. In the final analysis, it was because of his domineering interference in her life that she had to pay attention to this man. This heartbeat was sprouted because of bullying? Muzi frowned, feeling a little uncomfortable. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 255. Murong Cheng occupied the bed, and Mu Ziyi didn't want to share the bed with him, so he planned to go back to sleep in his own room. He casually picked up his coat and clothes, and was about to go around the bed when Murong Cheng woke up. Compiled, he didn't notice Mu Ziyi's attempt to leave. He saw the birthday present on his wrist for the first time after waking up, his thin lips slightly curled up, and a faint smile appeared. Mu Ziyi was slightly embarrassed, and said weakly, "Happy birthday." "Well, thank you." Murong Cheng smiled, got up a little bit, held Mu Ziyi's hand, and pulled her to his side. Her hands are small and soft, with warm palms and moist fingers. When Murong Cheng thought of her using these hands to weave a bracelet for himself, he felt a slight wave in his heart. "Thanks for your hard work, Zizi." He took her hands, put them to his lips, and kissed her fingers one by one, with a reverent and affectionate expression. Mu Ziyi felt her heart start beating wildly again. She was very uncomfortable, and at first she didn't want to see him kissing her fingertips, but her face was burning like fire. Mu Ziyi thought, "My face must be red." Murong Cheng kissed her countless times, she just felt sick, but when he kissed her fingers, she blushed. "It's hard work, you didn't force me," she complained awkwardly. "I can't sleep in the middle of the night." Murong Cheng laughed, picked her up and stuffed her into the quilt. "I'll let you sleep now." He hugged her and lay down together. Mu Ziyi reflexively struggled, tossed a few times, and felt that she was hypocritical. "I have slept with him so many times, if I miss this one time, can I keep my innocence?" In the end, he lay in Murong Cheng's arms with peace of mind, and fell asleep in a daze. When he woke up in the morning, Murong Cheng was not by his side. Mu Ziyi yawned drowsily, wondering if she was dreaming last night. When she raised her eyes, she saw rose petals scattered on the bed. "It's not a dream. The already cold bedding made me feel a little sad, and the emotions always came out of nowhere. When I got up and washed, there was a banging sound outside the window. It was Xiao who was scratching the glass window with his mouth outside. These days, it always goes to surf outside, and occasionally comes back for a walk, probably because the air conditioner is turned on at home. Although the heating is warm, it is a bit dull, and the birds probably feel uncomfortable." Mu Ziyi opened the window, and the little boy outside brought a new treasure, a ring pull can. This problem of picking up garbage has never been changed, and Mu Ziyi doesn't expect it to be able to change. The crow hopped into the house, walked across the room with the can in its mouth, and walked downstairs pattering all the way, knowing it without thinking, and went to look for Sisi again. "Xiao, don't always throw things into other people's nests, it's hard to clean," Mu Ziyi yelled helplessly. It's just that her bird still does its own thing, and Mu Ziyi doesn't bother to care about it anymore. At this time, the phone rang. Mu Ziyi answered the phone casually. It was Zhang Ci calling. "Have you read the news?" Zhang Ci asked immediately. Just listening to the cheerful voice on the phone, one could imagine how happy Zhang Ci was at the moment. Mu Ziyi smiled. "I just woke up, I haven't had time to watch it yet. How is it? Is it lively?" "You must watch the video of the interview with Mayor Qiao." "Ha ha ha, I didn't laugh to death." Zhang Ci laughed unscrupulously. "Qiao Jingjia's father is really the best." The corner of Mu Ziyi's mouth curled into a smile. While listening to the phone, he opened the most popular news website. The expected headlines, bold fonts and eye-catching pictures. Click in, and you can see the ever-increasing comments from netizens below. Sure enough, Qiao Jingjia was scolded miserably, and was even called the biggest disaster in the history of the Procuratorate. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life. Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 256. Prosecutors have a very high social status and are regarded by the whole people as the most prestigious profession. All criminal cases must be conducted under the guidance and supervision of prosecutors. Even the Minister of Justice has no right to interfere with prosecutors' investigations. Because of this, prosecutors have a star-like aura invisibly, and social evaluation often has a fatal impact on their careers. Suzi's fame is only secondary to her ability. The most important thing is that her public image has always been very good, which is why she has been elected as the best prosecutor time and time again. However, shortly after Qiao Jingjia officially became a prosecutor, she was criticized and belittled so far by public opinion. It can be said that she has no chance to stand up again. Muzi browsed the headlines, feeling pleasing to the eye. This is her victory, and she must appreciate it. The news editor was very narrow, and deliberately put the photos of Qiao Jingjia and Chu Mingjun side by side when typesetting. One side is gray and decadent, and the other side is upright and awe-inspiring, forming a strong contrast. High-ranking prosecutor. An obscure little lawyer. Victory in the final reversal. This kind of news breaking point is what the public likes to talk about. But Chu Mingjun stole the limelight this time. The reporters were full of praise for him. What a rookie lawyer, what a new legal star, what a star of justice. All kinds of words were piled up crazily, lest they couldn't express Chu Mingjun's outstanding performance in this trial. Muzi watched and couldn't help chuckling. Xiaoming did really well this time, she commented with a smile in her heart. Although she used a laptop to make prompts, she could only speak briefly and to the point, sometimes with only a few keywords. Chu Mingjun not only had to understand her meaning, but also organized the language as quickly as possible to clarify the logic. This is actually not easy. The most outstanding thing is his adaptability. Much better than Qiao Jingjia. Muzi scanned the hot news, but didn't see the video of the mayor that Zhang Xi mentioned. She patiently scrolled down. It turned out that there were too many posts, and the mayor's video was pushed down. After all, the mayor's banquet sounds boring, and few netizens will pay attention to it. Muzi found the news video, clicked to play it. The first part was a long and boring interview, in standard official dialect. After watching it, the reporter saw Mayor Qiao's plan to hold a celebration banquet for Qiao Jingjia. Qiao Nanzheng showed a subtle smile in front of the camera, and said, "It's probably because everyone's surname is Qiao, so everyone has this kind of misunderstanding. In fact, I will celebrate my little daughter's birthday this Sunday, and I specially set up a family banquet instead of a celebration. Yan, Prosecutor Qiao Jingjia and I don't know each other well, so I hope you don't misunderstand. Qiao Nan has 3 daughters, and the youngest daughter, Qiao Xinmei, is studying in Gray. In fact, Qiao Xinmei's birthday is still nearly a month away. Of course, the mayor can also argue that it is not impossible to celebrate his birthday earlier because of his busy schedule. But Qiao Nanzheng is really cruel. Once such words are released by the media, he will no longer be able to recognize Qiao Jingjia as a daughter, and even pretend to be unfamiliar to stop all contact. Treating her own daughter as an abandoned child, no wonder Zhang Xi said that Qiao Nanzheng was the best. Musa thought about what she was going to do next, and wondered if Qiao Nanzheng would become an obstacle. Thinking in her heart, she went downstairs to have breakfast, and just as she walked down the stairs, she felt a cold wind blowing, which made her shiver. Muzi only wears unlined clothes at home. Mom, Muzi rubbed her arms, why did you open the window? Bai Wei opened the floor-to-ceiling windows in the living room, and the cold wind poured in, blowing away the warmth of the house. Bai Wei hurriedly said, go up and put on some clothes, there's a stench downstairs, I'll open the window to disperse it. Hearing what she said, Muzi seemed to smell it too. The stench of rot, sickening. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, Your wife is born again. Author, Hua Hua Liao. Chapter 257. Really bad smell. Muzi I covered her nose in disgust, went back to the room and put on a thick coat, and after going downstairs again, the smell was still there. It smells so bad that it doesn't even taste good with breakfast. Muzi I frowned and drank soy milk. While drinking, her expression froze suddenly, remembering. Ah, she stood up abruptly. What's wrong? Bai Wei looked at her in surprise. Muzi I didn't answer, and ran to the terrarium in the living room with his slippers on. Open the glass cover on the top floor, and as soon as it is lifted, the rancid smell rushes up. Almost fainted her. Oops. Oops. It was the rabbit she fed 3 or 4 days ago, but Sissy didn't eat it. The rabbit had already rotted in the warm room. No wonder Xiao always likes to come here these days. Crows are naturally sensitive to corruption. Sissy, Sissy Muzi I was anxious, and called it while leaning on the side of the tall terrarium. The boa constrictor inside was motionless. What's wrong? What's wrong with Sissy? Bai Wei also ran over. Mom, what should I do? Musa was annoyed, and said with a sad face, is Sissy going to die? The boa constrictor was entangled, its scales were dull and whitish, and even the glass-like eyeballs were covered with a faint white. Muzi I remembered that Murong Cheng had told her not to feed her frequently. If Sissy does not eat after feeding, take out the food in time. Clean the terrarium regularly to prevent the growth of bacteria. The medicated oil to prevent and control parasites should be applied persistently. However, she failed to do all of them. People are lazy, especially when faced with things they don't like or don't want, they will keep procrastinating. She didn't want to clean the terrarium, so she procrastinated, and worried that Sissy would run out when she was hungry, so she kept feeding him, hoping that he would stop when he was full. It is almost instinctive to be afraid of pythons, but she never wants Sissy to die. Muzi I felt extremely guilty, her whole heart clenched, thinking of hurting an innocent life because of her own negligence. Her whole body was wrapped in guilt. Bai Wei also looked worried. On weekdays, she kept a respectful distance from the boa constrictor, and she didn't even dare to take a second look, let alone notice that the food in the terrarium had rotted. Muzi I didn't care too much, bent over and put his feet on his feet, and hugged the boa constrictor out with all his might. The boa constrictor is very big and heavy. Muzi I can't hold it by himself, he can only drag it a little bit. Bai Wei wanted to help, but she was a little timid looking at the huge monster, not daring to reach out. What are you doing? Murong Cheng's voice came from the stairs. Muzi I turned her head to look at him. She couldn't help being surprised. She thought Murong Cheng had already left, but she didn't expect him to be at home. Sissy is ill, hurry up and help your sister, Bai Wei said anxiously. Murong Cheng was wearing black satin pajamas, with disheveled hair on his forehead, leaning on the stairs, like a lazy romantic. Hearing his mother's urging, he walked over slowly. Muzi I just held out the round python's head. Murong Cheng glanced at it lightly, then raised his eyes again, staring at Muzi I quietly. Muzi I blushed with guilty conscience, bit her lip, not daring to look into Murong Cheng's eyes. Bai Wei knew that Murong Cheng wanted Muzi I to raise the snake, and she was afraid that her brother would blame her, so she persuaded her from the side, don't blame her, after all, it's your responsibility, the little girl belongs to everyone, why do you insist on her raising boa constrictors? Isn't this a crime? Your sister suffers, and the snake suffers too, alas. The corners of Murong Cheng's mouth turned up slightly, a half smile. Mom, did I say a word to her? Bai Wei choked. Murong Cheng turned around and leisurely went upstairs. Muzi I hurriedly stopped him. Brother, then, nay Sissy, what should I do? I'm going to change clothes, Murong Cheng said slowly without looking back, then drive him to the pet hospital. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HhandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 258. When Murong Cheng spoke, the two women in the family immediately had a backbone. Mu Zi's clever brain is only useful in investigating cases, but how to treat a python? She was at a loss. The siblings worked together to move Sisi into the trunk. The little girl jumped into the car out of curiosity, while Bai Wei stayed at home to clean up the stinky terrarium. Before getting into the car, Murong Cheng pinched Mu Zi's tense face, and jokingly said, "Look how much your mother-in-law loves you, I'm afraid you will be wronged." Mu Zi was worried about Sisi, and was suddenly molested by him, so she said, "That's my mother." "Oh, it's all the same." Murong Cheng disapproved and got into the driver's seat. Not long after the car was on the road, it encountered a traffic jam. Musa became even more anxious, turning her head to look behind Sisi from time to time, fearing that it would die halfway. If such a big python dies, it would be quite troublesome. Murong Cheng spoke in front, as if talking to himself. Even if we dig a hole to bury it, we have to dig a big hole to make room for it. What? After hearing this, Mu Zi felt that every sentence was very heart-wrenching. Is this man a heart of stone? Sisi is also his pet, and he even made sarcastic remarks. Murong Cheng said again, "I've been raising it for so many years, and it's been doing well. I didn't expect to change to a new home. It will die in less than half a year. The lifespan of a boa constrictor should be very long." Mu Zi bit her lip, feeling more and more guilty. Looking back now, it seems that she hasn't cleaned the terrarium since she entered the 2nd grade. And Xiao always likes to throw garbage in it. Although she has been verbally trained a few times, she has been letting it go. Sisi has become like this. It is likely that the environment of the breeding box is too bad, bacterial infection, or even parasites. Boa constrictors look scary, but they are also flesh and blood. They can suffer from pain and get sick, but snakes can't scream, so they can only bear it silently no matter how uncomfortable they are. The more Mu Zi thought about it, the sadder she became. Her eyes turned red before she knew it. Just like what Murong Cheng said, Sisi is still so young. If it wasn't for her, she might still be able to live for decades. "Don't be sad, this snake is dead, brother will buy you another one." Murong Cheng's words not only did not play a comforting role, but were heart-piercing. Mu Zi couldn't hold back after hearing this, and finally burst into tears. She doesn't like pets. She really can't stand life and death. At this moment, Mu Zi's cell phone rang suddenly. It was Xia Xian calling. In order to thank her for her help in winning the lawsuit, Xia Xian booked a banquet in Defenglu to entertain Mu Zi, Chu Mingjun, and everyone else who helped investigate the case. But how could Mu Zi be in the mood to eat now? Now declined. After a while, Chu Mingjun called again, probably because he heard that Mu Zi would not go, so he came here to ask. "Go ahead, don't worry about me." Mu Zi's voice was sullen and lifeless. "You don't need to mention me specifically, just remember to remind Xia Xian of what you promised me." Chu Mingjun knew it well, and kept saying yes. Letting a 16-year-old girl get too much limelight won't do her any good, only harm her. What's more, Mu Zi's purpose in handling the case was not to show off. Murong Cheng drove the car to the pet hospital, and called the doctor to help him lift the python. The huge piebald python was moved out of the car, attracting a lot of curious eyes. Animals in the pet hospital also looked at it one after another, and several puppies hummed timidly. Seeing these little animals alive and kicking, Musa felt even more sad when she saw Sisi dying, and felt that she had done something wrong. Walking into the medical room, Sisi was placed on the medical table, and the doctor and Murong Cheng were talking. "How long has it been like this?" 3 or 5 days. "It may be that the humidity is not enough. Recently, every house has turned on the heating. It is too dry, which will also affect the snake, the doctor said lightly. It's nothing serious. Go back and put a few more basins of water. Musei. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Blessed to have each other in this life, Shao, your wife is born again. Author, HandsomeMaleLead. Chapter 259. Murong Chang, you bastard. Sisi is not sick at all. After leaving the pet hospital, Musei couldn't bear it any longer, and cursed loudly. Sisi is not sick, it is shedding its skin. Murong Chang has been raising her for so many years, and he is very clear about the symptoms of Sisi's shedding, but he deliberately lied to her. Musei stomped her feet angrily. She felt guilty and sad for so long because of Sisi, and Murong Chang chose to poke her heart out and make her cry. This was to tease her deliberately. Damn stuff. Murong Chang laughed heartily in the car. Why aren't you sick? After Murong Chang laughed, he continued to tease her enthusiastically. It can be seen that you didn't listen carefully to what the doctor said. The doctor said that Sisi is too overweight. This is obesity. I explained it to you a month ago. You can only feed it once. How about you? He was right. Snakes usually shed their skin between May and August, but because the air conditioner in the small mansion is warm and Musei is fed enough, Sisi will shed its skin in autumn and winter. But Musei still felt that she was being tricked, and angrily ignored Murong Chang along the way. When I got home, the living room had been washed and there was no smell. Musei couldn't wait to complain to Bai Wei. It's shedding its skin. Bai Wei blinked, and leaned over to the boa constrictor to look left and right. Is it really all right? It's molting. Musei told Bai Wei what the doctor said. Snakes usually don't eat or move before molting. A few days before molting, the color of their eyes will become lighter, like smoky blue, and they will be temporarily blind. The color of the scales will also become dark and cloudy. My brother knows it's malting, but he deliberately scares me. Murong Chang beside him couldn't help laughing again. He felt that Musei's furious and helpless appearance was very cute. Bai Wei helped Musei reprimand Murong Chang. Why are you lying to her? Your sister is soft-hearted, and you made her worry for no reason. You even made a special trip to the hospital, and even Sisi was tortured. If you don't scare her once, she won't have a long memory, and she will die sooner or later. Murong Chang said, I did it for her own good, lest she regret it in the future. It's really for my own good. You shouldn't let me raise it. You raise it yourself. Musei was furious. Murong Chang was very rascal. Okay, I'll take care of it. When I'm not at home, you can take care of me. What's the difference between that and now? Musei was furious. Although angry, Musei still remembered what Murong Chang said. When taking care of Sisi again, she became cautious and did not dare to be sloppy. Perhaps it was guilt that had the upper hand. Although she was still a little scared, she could still do some tasks that she took care of with her own hands. Because the doctor said that Sisi would continue to grow after malting, the existing space was too small, so the family of 3 vacated the guest room and specially arranged it for Sisi to live in. The air conditioner and heating are turned on 24 hours a day, the house is filled with water basins and thick knotted branches, and the doors and windows are closed. It is dark and warm, and it is a comfortable snake house. Frankly speaking, apart from his scary appearance, Sisi is actually very well behaved and takes care of him with ease. Compared with Sisi, Xiaoya is very mischievous. Musei received complaints from Bai Wei almost every day, saying that she went to the backyard to pick up the tails of stray cats, and almost bawled her tails. Musei reflected, thinking that people judge people by appearance, and she judges pets by appearance. It really shouldn't be. In the future, it is better to treat everyone equally. For 2 days on Saturday and Sunday, Musa was working on Ceci's snake house at home, trying to give it the best environment where she could shed her skin with peace of mind, so much so that she forgot to pay attention to the buzzing headlines on the internet. Her pleasing results only hung up for a day before being overwhelmed by another piece of news. The case of the famous gold medal lawyer group, the trial failed miserably. The second youngest of the Gu family, Gu Yan, was sentenced to 6 years in prison for the crime of negligent death. A few days ago, Gu's lawyer has filed an appeal. Blessed to have each other in this life, Mu Shao, your wife is born again. Author, Hua Liao. Chapter 260. A mere manslaughter case is nothing compared to a serial murder case. However, the reason why this case attracts attention has nothing to do with the facts of the case, but rather Gu Shao's identity and the strength of the gold medal lawyer team. The Gu family is one of the 4 major families. The family is already powerful, and there is a team of gold medal lawyers to help, and the deceased is just a little model with no money and no power. It should be easy to fish Gu Shao out of the dirty water cleanly, but in the end lost. On the other hand, Jiao Jingjia's serial murder case was overturned in court, despite all the witnesses and material evidence. It is also an astonishing reversal, and the 2 cases are inevitably compared and competed for headlines. It has been a long time since such a lively news topic appeared in Xinjiang City, and 2 of them popped up at a time. For a while, almost everyone was talking about these 2 lawsuits. These excitement did not affect Mu Zi at all. In the blink of an eye, it was Monday again, and Mu Zi went to school as usual. During the break between classes, she found that many students in the class were also paying attention to current affairs, chatting about the latest lawsuits, but there were more lawsuits about Gu's family. After all, Gu Shao was a celebrity. Zhuang Jia also chatted. Her mother is a well-known designer and has business cooperation with artists under Yingting Entertainment Group, so Zhuang Jia was fortunate to meet Gu Shao several times in person. He looks like a dog, but his private life is extremely dirty. Men and women take it all, and anyone who comes is welcome. Everyone says that the women in their company are not clean except for the cleaning lady, Zhuang Jia said to Gu Shao. The evaluation is extremely low. I really hope that he will be imprisoned for a few years, so as not to cause harm to others. Zhang Xinyuan was stunned for a while, and slowly realized what it meant, and his face turned pale. Mu Zi was not surprised by the corrupt life of this kind of rich boy, and asked Zhuang Jia with a smile, how many years do you want him to stay in? I'll help you calculate the sentencing standard of the criminal law and see if it's enough. I think what's the use? Zhuang Jia shrugged helplessly, he has already appealed, Gu Shao will definitely fish him out, that is his own brother. Both were born by the same mother, why is there such a big difference? Unknowingly, the topic turned to Gu Liang, the young master of the Gu family. Zhuang Jia said, the younger generation of the Gu family is the most powerful. The next head of the Gu family must be Gu Liang, who has not run away. Mu Zi and Gu Liang had met before, at Zhuang Jia's birthday show. She had a good first impression of Gu Liang, she felt that he was indeed a calm and courageous man. Zhuang Jia gossiped with them, Lan Kexin, who is in the 3rd grade, has always wanted to be with Gu Liang. I heard that she once recommended herself to sleep with her, but I don't know if it succeeded. Tisk tisk, I guess it must have failed. Cool woman, it's time to show off. Mu Zi was dumbfounded, she has a family background, talent, and good looks, why can't she think about being someone else's mistress? Who knows, it's probably because a woman who is Gu Liang is superior to others even if she has no status. Zhuang Jia curled her lips and said sarcastically, don't look at the girls in this school. How many are there? If you really want to be attracted by the men of the 4 major families, you may not want to get off the bed one by one, not much more noble than the prostitutes outside. After hearing this, Mu Zi looked a little unnatural. Zhuang Jia's gossip reminded her of herself, which made her feel extremely embarrassed. Although she was forced to, she did go to Murong Cheng's bed, and she was not pure and pure.